Hello, good afternoon, everybody, to the Successful Writers Club, and this is my 14-day challenge, and this is going to be about Facebook ads. We'll do quite a bit again today. I want to do Facebook ads. I want to do how to use your profile, how to get people engaged, and build people onto your list for free on Facebook. And then the third one I want to talk about is Facebook groups for authors. This one is going to be something that a lot of us find really difficult. But again, if you've gone through some of the course I've already talked about in the challenge and talking about hitting that 1 to 3%, this is what you're doing every time you do a Facebook ads. And the information that you need to do to start off with is to focus solely on understanding who's clicking it and who's interested in it. And that takes time. This is about gathering information, and unfortunately that costs money for you to do that. I highly recommend, before you even start looking into doing that, is to get your pixel set up on Facebook, which you connect to your website, which will be linked to your, if it's MailChimp or whatever service provider you've got, then it gives you the opportunity to, and then you can get it all linked in, you can see who's doing what, and it gives you loads and loads and loads of information, and that's really what you're looking to do. Yes, it's difficult, but when you hit the sweet spot with Facebook ads, this is the one that really can kick off and make your career, if I'm honest. I've had several authors in the past that I've listened to, and they've done phenomenally well because they've found out what works and they've gone for it. Your header, your headline has to be spot on, has to be something that can be a little bit controversial or something that will get people reading it. Your ad copy's got to be spot on. Your picture has to be spot on. Whether you want to do a picture, whether you want to do a video works really, really well, and clicks are fantastically cheap as well. So they're things to do. So I'm going to talk a little bit of detail in regards to what I talked about a few days ago, but I think it's really important to reiterate this to you guys. When you're doing a Facebook ad, you're hitting only 1 to 3% of the 50% pie. 50% of people are not going to buy from you whatsoever. They're not going to be interested. Thanks very much. Nah. Right? But the other 50% will. 1 to 3 will be interested in buying from you now, which is why it is so difficult for people to buy, because, again, you're only hitting 1 to 3%. So out of 1,000, that isn't many, is it? Right? If you're hitting the more warmer people, that takes time again for people to see what you're doing. Perhaps you need to do a few more posts rather than just one, and that will get people engaged too. And then you've got 40% where people can be highly engaged. People are going to be wanting to buy your stuff, but not now, because they need to like you, and they should know who you are, and they need to trust what you're doing and trust who you are before they'll buy from you. And that takes time, and that takes investment in you helping them. Facebook ads are difficult, but it really is, for me, an opportunity to get to know your audience and to grow it quite substantially, by engaging with your people. Now, a few things I really don't recommend you focusing on is don't boost posts. Absolute waste of time. All you're doing is getting people that will be engaged with you. Also, when you are starting to build up your posts and starting to do your adverts, be aware that there are, unfortunately, wallies that will be willing to make derogatory comments regardless of what your post is. My advice to you, you've got two options with that. You can either hide the post so that only their friends can see it, but they can still see it, or they can just delete them. And if consistent people that are doing it, then I just highly recommend, you know what, just delete them and block them. You don't need to respond to it. You don't need to spend any time listening to them. I've had some really horrible people responding to me in the past, saying some nasty stuff. It's a reflection on them, it's not a reflection on you, so don't take it personally. There's a few little tips that I've learned over the last couple of months as well when you're doing it. So the massive big thing to start off with before you look into it is, who is your audience? Now, if any of you guys are interested, I'm more than happy to send over my little document which can go through that in a little bit more detail, so you've got a bit of understanding of who it is and how to grow it. But one of the great thing as well is something I recommend is go onto Facebook Insights and then look into that as well, and all you need to do is put the heading, and it'll give you so much information. What are the most people that are interested in it? What sort of Facebook groups they like? What sort of business pages they like? All that type of stuff. It's so much in-depth information in there. So look into Facebook Insights. It's free. It's an opportunity to look into it as well. Also on Facebook, there's Facebook Blueprint, if I can say it right. Facebook Blueprint, where you'll be able to go through and actually you can do a course which is completely free on how to set up your ads, all that type of stuff, and some insights into it too. Now, Facebook ads is difficult. Please, if this is something that you are really interested in doing, give yourself time and build it and understand what's going on. Do not expect I'm going to spend spend $1,000 and then I'm going to make loads of money out of it, because it doesn't work like that. It takes time. Budget how much money you can afford to lose, and then do that, and then analyze the data that comes from it, because there is so much information that Facebook will give to you, and Facebook want your books to do well, or want your products to do well. That's really what they want, because if it does well, then you'll be spending more money and you'll be making more money, and again there'll be more people that'll be interested in buying their stuff. So it's really, really critical that they get it right. This isn't something they deliberately want to suck your money from you. To spend the time, analyse the data, and again, this is really difficult. I know a lot of you guys are like, oh really? Unfortunately so. If you want to make this work, if you want to make Facebook ads work, then you have to spend time learning what the data means and how to go about it. So whether your cost of clicks are doing well, whether you're making money out of it, you need to know all of this information for it to work. What's going on? Now, Brendan Burchard says, and this is something that I really take to heart, if you break even on your ads, then you're doing really well. Now, the reason why I says that is because what you can do is you can build them into your email list, etc., etc. And for each dollar that you spend, $44, this is a study that I did quite recently, $44 you can make out of it. So you bring them onto your email list, you start automated service, you start engaging with them, you start talking to them. This can be whether you're non-fiction or fiction, and then you've got, through that automated service, there may be something that you want something to buy from. Again, you've got an opportunity to do that too. So you've got all of that. So it could be that you do this advertisement and you just want them to go onto your email list, or you want them to buy a book, and they don't do that, or they just sign up to your email list instead. You've got an opportunity to make money out of that there. So again, it's being aware of what money's been made from somewhere else. It may be you're losing money, loads of money over this side, but over here you're actually making it. Again, it's about analysing the data and understanding. And if you've got the Pexel set up, then with each time that you put this effort in and you grow it, you'll find that there'll be more opportunities to make money from it. You can, to start off with, make money from it. That is possible, but it's highly unlikely, because again, you're only hitting 1 to 3%, and if you want long-term success, then you need to start getting the other 47%. Hello Janine, how's it going? Hello Kate, how's it going? Is there any questions from you guys from this? You're more than welcome to ask me. If you want me to go into a bit more detail on how to set it up, I'm happy to do that as part of the 14-day challenge and go through it with you, line by line, what sort of things you need to look out for, how you can get Facebook then to set up your lookalike audience, all that sort of stuff. There's loads you can do. One of the best things, and something that Gary Vaynerchuk says, is do a video, do another video, do your video, and then those that have sort of viewed it, you then advertise to them. That's something that will work. Talk a bit about yourself, etc., etc. I know there's sometimes Facebook can be quite difficult and it can be quite petty with some of the things on video, and they'll stop you from launching it. But again, just be understanding of what the rules are so that you don't break them. And to be honest with you, us authors don't really have that much of a problem. There's a lot of other people out there that will try and use health and all that type of stuff, and make claims that actually are not true. Actually, Facebook tend to sort of shut down quite quickly, and rightly so, if I'm honest. Hello, Carolyn. How's it going? So, Facebook ads can be simple. Again, like everything that I talk about can be simple, but it can also be quite difficult. It's about taking your time, investing money and effort into this, and understanding what's going on, why that didn't work, why that didn't work, and everything. Going into the scalable side of things, once you see that something's actually starting to make money, and on the Facebook Ads Manager, it will tell you how much money something's making from it, because obviously the link and all that sort of stuff is on there. You can see what you're doing. Then you can start making decisions. So some things you could doing one audience, this audience, that audience, whatever, and you can see which one's making the profit. Then you can start going in and doing it. And what I will do, and something I highly recommend you do, a lot of people go, oh, brilliant, I've spent $5 on this one, it's doing really, really well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to up the price for it. Bad move. And the reason why it's a bad move is because it then resets your ad, and that means that you actually don't make the ROI that what you were doing. So again, what I would do is I would duplicate it, and testing is a key thing, and I will talk about testing to the cows come home, whether it's Amazon ads, whether it's BookBub ads, whether it's whatever it is all about testing and then learning what works for you and then adapting. Hopefully this makes sense to you guys. The scalable stuff is absolutely fantastic, and I've sort of like learned from really well-known people that they've gone sort of like from like $100, $200 to spending $10,000 a day on ads and actually making a considerable amount of money when they actually see that things are starting to move forward, and they're actually, you know, you can see the money being made from it. Now it's a little bit more difficult for us because obviously we've got to wait a couple of months, but again, there's opportunities there to understand and see what it is. But really simply, what I would do is, in your position, I would test 2 or 3, see how they go, different ad copies, different headlines, different pictures or different videos. It depends what you want to do, and then see what happens and see what works, and then see what's going on with the actual ad itself. Make sure that you've got a basic understanding of how much money you take a day anyway, and then take it from there, and you can start to see an improvement, and then move forward with it. And then if you've got your pixels, you'll be able to start seeing which people are then clicking it, going to buy it, and then abandoning it. You've got all that information, so it's really quite a powerful tool for you to use. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to me today. If you've got any questions, you're more than welcome to ask me. But this is part 1, and I'm going to go with part 2 in a few minutes.